Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Excellent. You look like you're feeling wonderful. I'm very excited. I like that picture behind you. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
May I ask you please to tell us your name?
I'm Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr.
Absolutely. And Dr. Freeman, will you tell us a little bit about yourself? Anything you feel comfortable sharing?
Yes. So when thinking about our chat, one of the things that I thought would be important to share with those who might watch this program are three things that have helped to guide my process through life and in particular my career. The first is knowing who I am. So I am clear about who I am. I'm a Christian. I'm also a Black man. I am also a husband, and I am a son. And so with that clarity, I have a foundation in which to go for the things in which I want to achieve. And so when people ask me, how have I been able for the last 7 years to be at the University of Idaho, to earn tenure and full professor in record time, which was 5 years and 7 months. A core of that was knowing who I am. But secondly, I know whose I am. So I am Sidney Freeman Sr. and Cassandra Freeman's baby boy. I also am a child of God. And so because I know and who I believe and who I trust, I have that foundation to know that if everyone turns their back on me, there's somebody that loves me. There's somebodies that care for me. And then third, I know where I want to go. So it's not just that I just have a foundation, and it's not just because I know whose I am, but I also have a particular trajectory in which I am going. And so I know that my job on earth is to fight for Black people in particular, but also to educate our community writ large. And so with that has opened up doors for me beyond even my disciplinary training. So I was trained in the area of higher education administration. However, over time, I've developed interest in Black religion. I've developed interest in history. I've developed interest in Africana studies, which is African American or Black studies. And so, but having that foundation allows me to say, I have a strong foundation already, so I can build on that. I can be multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary. So I'll repeat that again. I know who I am, I know whose I am, and I know where I'm going.
That is so powerful, Sidney. Oh my God, Dr. Freeman, that is so powerful. I mean, that right there says it all, right? So most of us do not have that foundation, right? We know whose we are, right? We know who our parents are, our family, we know whose we are. But knowing who you are, I'm going to tell you something, that's a stretch for many people, right? So if you go up and walk up to somebody and ask them, who are you? They have to think, it's a pause, right? Because we haven't mastered all these things because we have been so riddled with society and racism and discrimination and all of these things that happen. We lose that. We lose who I am. We get caught in the fight so often that we don't know who we are, right? So if a white person says or does something that's not comfortable, sometimes we take those things personally, or if they don't do something we want them to do, we take that personally, and it disrupts who we think we are. And in a lot of ways, having that foundation and constantly having it in front of you, it opens every door you can imagine, because you're not afraid once you know who. And then you know what you want. That's pretty powerful too, right? So what do you want? Many of us could say, I want a great job. that's not what you want. I tell my son this all the time. You want to know what your long-term thing is. Where are you going? Right? So what is it that you want? And if you don't have that focus of knowing what it is that you want, and it's almost singular, it's not like it's a lot of things. I want a new car, I want a new house, I want to, no, you want to be successful in something that will allow you to have all those other things. That's not the thing. And if you can hold on and drive that path, I know who I am, I know what I want, I know whose I am, then you almost always can stay focused and you succeed. If you allow the wind and the rain and the snow and the tornadoes and hurricanes discombobulate you, you are going to lose your foundation. And all of those things are just the things of life. And life is not easy. It's hard. And a lot of times, the least little thing throws you off track, but you have to get back on that track. And I often tell people who listen to me in these chats, failure is necessary. If you don't have failure, you can wipe it off. And so losing a job, that's a lesson. You don't take that personally. Getting a job is a lesson. All of these things are meant to teach you something. The question is, what do you do with those lessons? So I want to ask you, Dr. Freeman, will you tell us a little bit about your path? How did you get to where you are now? So not the foundational piece, but the steps that got you to who and what you are. So being tenured at the University of Idaho, being, requested by universities to be, a scholar. How did that path work for you?
Yes, and I think this question is more profound than you might know, because I think it's so important, in particular for African Americans, to, as they would say, lift as we climb. And so very few times do we have an opportunity where we're explicit about how we've achieved it. We're so busy just trying to survive ourselves and trying to move up the ladder wherever we are, that we're hard pressed to have the opportunity to really share those steps. But I started out after earning my Ph.D. at Auburn University. My first job was at Tuskegee University, serving as a director of a teaching and learning center. And so I did that for 3.5 years. During that time, I published a lot, right? So I published at least 10 articles during my 3.5 year stint at Tuskegee in my administrative role. So that was key. That's a key right there, that you, just because you're in an administrative role doesn't mean that you still don't publish or you still don't partner with others outside of that. So that's one key from that experience. But additionally, I still taught as an adjunct at my graduate institution, Auburn University. So I still got that experience. So it's important to, so the second thing is important to get some teaching experience, even if it's at an adjunct or a contingent basis. And during that time, I also still continued to tool up. So in particular, I worked on my certification in faculty development. So you'll see here, it just so happens to have today, I have my pen here, but it's certified faculty developer. That's what's said on this particular pen. But I'm a certified faculty developer, and I'm also certified in online instruction. So I didn't rest on my laurels just because I had a PhD. I wanted to differentiate myself, and so those were ways in which I was still continuing to tool up myself so I could be marketable beyond that particular institution. And so it came at a time where I was unable to earn a tenure rank at Tuskegee, and so I had to look for other opportunities. And then the University of Idaho hired me. I think a key that we don't often talk about, but my father-in-law sat me down and had a conversation with me about, was to make sure, of course, that I'm taking care of his daughter, not just I'm the protector, but also if we were going to go to Idaho, make sure that I negotiated opportunity for her to work, because she had just completed her doctorate. And so I had several things in my negotiation. So the first thing was salary, right? The first thing was salary. I did my homework. I went online. I looked at salaries of those that were in similar positions at institutions of higher education. So I came armed with that data. I also came armed with ready and willing to negotiate from my salary that I had. So it's so important for younger professionals to be very thoughtful about their initial negotiation for their first position. So at the time, I was offered out. I think I can share this. I was offered 55,000, I believe, for my initial administrative role, and I negotiated it to 65,000. Mm-hmm. And so they were kind of, whoa. They were. My immediate supervisor was kind of taken aback because she thought they were going to get me at 55. I said, no, I bring these kinds of things to the table. So because I negotiated 65 when I came to University of Idaho, it put me on a trajectory where I said, I can't make less than 65. And so it positioned me. I made more than that, but I was able to push back because I had the right base salary. And if I had compromised earlier on, that would have put me in an untoward situation. So the first thing was my salary. Second thing was to ensure my wife had a position. And so she had her own, once I made that a stipulation, they ensured that she had her own process that she would go through. And now she's been a faculty member in our medical school program for the last 7 years while I was in my role. And so we had that. And then third was I negotiated an academic journal. And I said I really wanted to position their institution to be a leader in the space of higher education. And they provided additional funds for that. So and the fourth thing was rank. So I said that I need to come in as associate professor.
Love it. Love it.
So most people, they would say, you don't negotiate associate professor. People are going to be mad, it's more about, are you concerned about what other people think? I said, listen, I've earned that because I have the publications and things like that. And so came in with associate without tenure. But what that did was position me to go up for tenure early. Now I wanted to do a full professor and tenure together. The institution wouldn't let that happen, but it did expedite my process where I was able to complete tenure I was able to get tenure within 2 years, and then a little more than 3 years after earning tenure, I earned full professor. And so the context for that is, in my field, it generally takes you 10 to 12 years to earn full professor. I was able to complete that in 5 years and 7 months. And the average person to be a full professor is 55 years old. I was 36 when I started, so I had a 14, almost 15 year head start. So I hope that these things that I'm sharing are helpful to your audience.
I think that absolutely so. I mean, the part that you negotiated, that you went in so confident in your skills and what you brought to the table. You got a job for your wife, you got the pay you wanted, you got the rank that you wanted. So it's important to understand that you can negotiate, even if you are new or beginning in a field, you can always negotiate. You have what, so if somebody says they're going to pay you $55,000 and that's not sufficient for you, you can even negotiate the next year. So, right. So if you can't pay me $65,000 this year, I want it written in my terms that you'll pay me that the following year, or when you can. But I think the part of negotiation is so important for young people to understand. Just because someone is offering a job, we go on a job interview, we're so excited that we've been considered for an interview, and then all of a sudden we turn into babbling fools. We don't have our confidence and our faith in ourselves, so we let them tell us what's going to happen. They're going to tell us what they're going to pay us, tell us when we're going to start, tell us all that, tell us the office we're going to have, right? So all of that kind of happens in the process if we don't step up and negotiate. So I think that what you said is actually pretty powerful, that people should understand that you should negotiate as much as you can and be always willing to go back to the negotiation table after you've gotten some portion of that.
And I would say, I would be honest with, if I'm 100% honest with you, I had stepped down from my position at Tuskegee at that time. And so I did not have a position, right? So you have to be willing to step away from the table if they're not going to value you. And so I had some other offers prior to the Idaho offer in major cities, right? And so I knew my worth within the constellation of institutions, right? And so I was willing to say, if they weren't going to value what I brought to the table, my wife and I would have had to eat ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but we were committed. We were committed to that, and I think people are attracted to confident people, not arrogant people, but to confidence. And so I think those things worked on our behalf.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for your time to talk to me. I think we're getting close to your time that you need to go. But I want to ask you if you could share what your next steps are and how do you approach moving from success to the next level of success?
So you're asking me this at an interesting time. Last year I earned full professor in what is that? I earned that in late March, and my becoming the first African-American male to earn full professor at my institution went viral 6 times on social media.
Wow.
And I've gotten a lot of awards last year. Major, great things have happened, but that's not the total story. So in late August, I was receiving an award last year in late August, and I was also endowing a scholarship at my graduate institution. We had just finished that ceremony where I got the award and announced my scholarship. 3 hours later, I got a call that my dad had passed.
Oh.
And so that was hard on me. 15 days later, my grandmother passed, which is my mother's mother. And so I've had the greatest highs. I've spoken at the top research conference in my field with the top awards. And in the same year, you lose 2 significant people in your life. And so it makes you reevaluate life and what's really important. And so when we're talking about success, we're talking about success in a holistic success. What is it about your health and financial wealth, and all those things have to come together. And so I am in the midst of reassessing what success to success looks like. Right. And success for me now looks like being able to 2 weeks ago to take my mom 7 days during the school year, 7 days on a vacation and go with her and just spend time with her. That's success. Along with still getting an award next week in San Diego for multicultural education at the American Educational Research Association. And so success is multidimensional. I think that we talk about success as a linear thing or as a straight line up, and life doesn't afford us that. Life gives us these ups and downs. But I heard a minister say the other week who lost his dad. He said he acknowledged that he was down, and I had to acknowledge that I got punched in the face with life, right? But you're not going to be down always.
You're not going to be down
there's these
always.
times, there's going to be these times where you just need to take a second, regroup, and get ready to go to the next level. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm appreciating this opportunity to serve as a visiting scholar at the University of Pennsylvania. This was an institution that I applied to for both graduate school and for faculty positions, and was never hired. And now I literally sit in the former president's office in the main administration building. So and there was a sense of, I got to make something happen. But then also I had to rest in, I said, this is just a foreshadowing of what's next. So sometimes I'm in this period of gratefulness and thankfulness and appreciating the opportunities that are there. So it doesn't mean that I'm not planning. It doesn't mean that I'm not dreaming, but I would say that success is appreciating where you are at that time and loving your family.
Absolutely. And I would add that almost everything that we do in life has something to do with our family, right? I have no mother, no father, no grandmother, no grandfather. I have no one higher than me. I have a couple of aunts and uncles, and a lot of times I miss everything about them. And for the longest time, every step I took was for my mother. Even though she had died, every step I took was for my mother. And she's not here to enjoy my success, but I have a husband, I have 2 children, that's my success. Whatever I am, that's my success, that my children and my husband are well, healthy, and doing well. And I wish that for you in all your endeavors. We have, communicated and collaborated on some work, but I really want to tell you, I am here. Consider me a part of your community. I am. If there's anything I can do for you, if I can help you, anything, please let me know. I am happy to do so, because I think your story is so powerful, and the way you tell it is so perfect. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. And I hope you come back and chat with me again.
I would love to. And thank you so much. I'm honored to be a part of your community.
I love it. And, we can always collaborate again, sure, something we need to write.
Definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Freeman. We really
have a great one.
You have a great one too. Bye.
Bye-bye.